Hi everyone, I'm Susan Mulvihill, and look at the cool African violet I just bought at the store yesterday. I love these two-tone petals, they're so pretty. You know, I've grown African violets for years and I have had such great luck with them because I know a couple little tricks of the trade, and they tend to bloom for me almost year-round, which is wonderful. I have an interesting thing to show you today. Here it is late winter, and this is the perfect time to spruce up your African violets. So let me show you what to do, and you should have great success with yours too. These first few photos show some of my African violets. As you can see, by the end of winter, they definitely need some sprucing up. You see some leaves are yellowed, some are a bit curled, some have grown up facing an odd direction because the foliage was a bit crowded. The first thing I do is remove those types of leaves. It might seem mean, but my goal is to have a nicely shaped plant with leaves that aren't crowded. Now you see what the plant looks like with those leaves removed. But now I have a dilemma. There are two main stems with leaves. Now what? Well, I just want a single stem, so I snap off the one to the side. Unfortunately, with African violets, you can't really tease apart roots to divide it like you can with some plants. Here's what the plant looks like now. Poor little thing. I've carefully removed it from its pot, and I've scrubbed the pot to remove any built-up minerals. This next part is not for the faint of heart, but it really works, and your plants will thank you for it. Place the plant on its side on some sheets of newspaper. Take a sharp knife and slice off the bottom 1 to 1.5 inches of the plant's roots and potting soil. Discard what you've cut off. Since I also want to center the new and improved plant in its pot when I replant it, I also slice off a bit from the side once I've stood the plant up again, being careful not to cut through the thick, fleshy stem that emerges from the potting soil. I also want to replant it more deeply in the pot since there's no point in having so much stem above the surface of the potting soil. I place a thin layer of new potting soil in the bottom of the pot, lower the plant into it, and then fill in around the root ball and above the surface of the old potting soil. I'm careful to press the soil in firmly around the roots so there are no air pockets, which is very important. And here you see the finished product. Here's another plant which has been having a bit of a tough time. I removed the leaves that I didn't want, snapped off an auxiliary stem that was growing crooked, and repotted it in the center of the pot. Here's yet another plant. See how it was growing next to the edge of the pot? I removed the leaves I didn't want, sliced off the soil at the bottom, and also made a vertical cut so I could better center the plant. And here it is repotted. Looks much better, doesn't it? Here's the next plant, which really doesn't look all that bad. I removed the yellowed leaves, sliced off the bottom inch of the old potting soil, scrubbed the pot, added new potting soil, and here it is back in its pot. And here's the last plant all spruced up. This is that cool new plant I bought yesterday, but now it's in a new pot. Since it was growing in a slightly smaller pot, all I had to do for it was to fill in some fresh potting soil in the gap between its root ball and the sides of the new pot. And here's the gang all tidied up. The last step is to lightly fertilize the plants with a water-soluble houseplant fertilizer that is for blooming houseplants. Remember that because African violets have hairy leaves, they don't like them to get wet, so be careful when watering them. You'll be amazed at how quickly your plants will start blooming again. Happy gardening!